Hello, 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 everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Got some errands done this morning, which is why I'm starting late. But now we are here. So now that we've got all of our challenges done, mostly just doing random chill whatever stuff. Probably do some more delving today since I kept saying I was going to do that, so can do some more of that. Probably improve this Molten Striker a little bit so it looks slightly less embarrassing. We got a bajillion divines to work with for now, that's for sure. Also, I guess I can keep selling Elder gear, but got lots of weapons. It looks like most of the stuff that was not weapons sold for the challenge completion is why I have these listed so people can come and finish the challenges at the end. Hey, Mikey. Good to see you. Good to see you. How are ya? We did not succeed at making a new belt yesterday. I used up most of the rest of these essences. So yeah, might give that another shot at some point today. Some fizz. Bleeding. More fizz. Does stun duration help you, or is that just a random last slot thing? Pretty good axe. Last one is useless, but the rest of it looks nice. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. I'm assuming the belt I made didn't sell. Probably. Level 30, Aspect of the Cat. Spell block. Lots of life. Recover life when you block. Very nice. I'm not sure what Aspect of the Cat does, but I'm sure it's must be something useful. We sold the un-ID'd Sublime Vision. That's why I have so many divines sitting in here. Sublime. We also sold a Machinarium. Let's see, is that belt still in here? Sure is. I did have an idea. Can you recombinate synthesis items? Because if you can, that's basically my next idea. Recombinate. Does this show stash? Oh. I can just have a second stash through the recombinator? Sweet. Do I have random synthesis? I got random synthesis bullshit in my merchant tab, I know that. It puts your frenzy max charges all the time, aspect of the cat. Very nice, very speedy. Like this tab right here, although I would assume they would need to be the same implicit. Well, maybe not the same implicit to do the recombinate, but the same implicit if I want the right outcome. Let me see. Well, let me shove these two hammers together. Chance for success, 80%. I guess it will. I could just start buying a bunch of these bases and then stop and then just try to recombinate them together maybe. That might work better than what I was doing yesterday. So I don't use the recombinator often, so it'd be a good time to learn it while we're chilling at the end of the league. Let's go delve for a little bit, though. I like the lo-fi right now. Guess I'll just keep it on lo-fi for now. Chill afternoon, chill Monday afternoon. So I started another new anime last night. Airing this season. I forget what it's called, but I should look. Otherwise, it's gonna be hard to... I think it's Shibuyugi or something. Pull up my anime list. Currently watching... Shibuyugi. English translation, playing death games to put food on the table. It, very interesting. So it caught my eye because of like the art style and the some of that. Because Giga talked about it in one of his newer videos. So it's show about death games, which is a pretty common trope in anime, and I guess after Squid Games, a bit more popular in the general media sphere. But some of the interesting things they do, it's a little bit of a more unique art style, reminiscent of like Madoka and Monogatari, stuff like that, which those shows are, I like those shows a lot, so thought I'd give that a chance. The other very interesting thing is, for these death games, they do some sort of treatment. Like, these are human people, supposedly, but they don't bleed. They're treated with some preservation treatment. So when anyone is physically harmed, it's just stuffing that comes out of them, like a plushie or a stuffed animal or something. Makes for a really strange vibe. Was it good? It's good so far. It's still airing. It was pretty freaky. It's one of those shows where they show you instead of telling you, so it's not like giant exposition dumps constantly. You just kind of get thrown into this weird, strange, slightly familiar world, but slightly different, and you just slowly learn what's going on. It's also not clear as to the order of events. It will go to... It'll have a narration from, like, the main character as though they're talking about the past, and then it'll cut to a future death game, or a previous death game, or a dream sequence. You're trying to keep track of, was that something real? Was the character having a nightmare? So that's what I spent a good chunk of last night doing. Also watched a little bit more of the new Fate series that's airing right now as well. Been looking to see if I find enough stuff to put together a new anime sound pack. Right now I have the typical, like the normal sound pack I would do would have 6 different drop sounds in it. So far I have one I would really want to use and another one I could probably use, so I'm at like 2 of 6. So I don't want to commit to anything yet and say that I'm for sure making one, but that is the reason why I've been watching a lot of anime recently, is to hopefully find something to put together for a new sound pack. But I also don't feel like forcing it if I don't find interesting sound bites that I want to use. That is a long path to the side. Let's see, are there any concerning modifiers up ahead? So that has penetration. So if this leads in a dead end, we might want to turn around early. But for now, I think going this way is gonna probably be the best bet. The magma balls that you see are from Molten Strike. Molten Strike of the Zenith is the skill we're using for damage. You did a practice run. Nice. How far did you get? Probably gonna start doing practice runs after the patch notes on Friday. Or I might do some earlier on like Tuesday or Wednesday or something. Depends on the mood I'm in. If I'm really in a speedrunning mood, I'll probably do some practice runs as well. You can't get the rolling magma for a new character. It's only available for certain classes. Rolling magma. So, enemy at the gate. It is a quest reward for the Witch and Templar. And then it can be bought at the vendor by Witch, Shadow, Templar, and Scion. If you start Ranger, Duelist, or Marauder, you won't have access to it until the library in Act 3. What a lot of people do if they need a gem from another class, they will make a character get through this quest, which is like the first or second quest. I think it's the first quest. So as soon as you get to town, they'll do that, probably on a Witch or a Templar, because they get it for free. You make a Witch or Templar, you get your gem, and then you go and you make the actual character that you're going to run through the campaign, and then you give them that gem. So it adds about, I think, 2.5 minutes normally if you don't die or anything silly. And for a lot of builds, it's worth sacrificing 2.5 minutes to be able to use the gem that they want until they get to their next one. You did Shadow? It should be at the vendor. Create. I have an empty character slot. You were hoping for the quest rewards? Yeah. Depends on your class. If you started Shadow, it will be at the vendor for a Wisdom Scroll, I think. It doesn't get much cheaper than that. Hello, Nessa. Rolling magma. 1 wisdom. Oh yeah, the vendor having gems is very important for getting through the campaign quickly. Saying mine are good at delving. It can delve in like the low hundreds. I think largely because it's an evasion build and you just kill everything before it hits you is typically how that works. But yeah, he can is able to clear some of the delve stuff. Of course, we got these guys. Hopefully they don't hit me, because the rogue exiles down here hit really fucking hard. Yeah, so that's a really bad node to show that it's possible to do. Let's see. Sweltering Burrow, Haunted Remains. Haunted Remains would probably be fine. This is depth 700, so like it's getting pretty close to what the limit would be for this character. There's the rare that we need to kill, and node complete. Show off how hard the all fight is if you don't have a character that could stand in everything. So if he hits me through my evasion here, I'm probably going to get one shot. And his mechanics are pretty difficult. My Molten Striker also gets killed by this guy, so he would for sure one-shot me if I don't evade. This is the hard part. That hits really hard, and I'm trying to make it not hit these things around the edges, but I'm failing miserably at that. If enough of those get activated, he goes into a different bullet hell phase. Ah. There's also a little bit of ground degen, which I stood in for approximately a second and a half, and it killed me. But the reason I can't do this one on my jug, in the bottom left you can see the modifiers, and fourth one from the bottom, monster damage penetrates 12% elemental resistances. There's just like, the only way you can counter that is by raising your max elemental resistances, but we're already raising our max elemental resistances as much as we can, just to be able to survive the other content that can't penetrate our resistances, so yeah, that's why my jug can't tank that one. Not yet, anyways. It might be able to get to a point where it could, just by having a lot of, like, mitigation through some of the elemental being taken, or some of the armor protecting elemental damage, and just a bigger ES and life pool would be the other ways to attempt to mitigate it. Kind of build those people have to go for 1,000 plus? This kind of character. This, or you could, in theory, there used to be, I don't think there's a meta for it right now, but there used to be an old meta for evasion characters, and the strategy was you bash your character into the node until you can complete it without being hit. And if you get hit once by anything, you die. So you get billions of damage and a lot of move speed, and you just run around hoping you don't get hit and hope that you clear the node before you get hit. That used to be an old strategy. Nowadays, most people are using jugs or something similar to get 90% max res, a shit ton of armor, and then a crazy amount of recovery. And lots of other damage reduction layers. You basically layer as many damage reduction layers as you can. Stackers? Yeah, this is a strength stacker. Hey, Lunicity. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? 18,000 strength? Yeah, I need more. I need more strength. When is Mirage League? March 6th. Not this upcoming Friday, but the Friday after that. This upcoming Friday, they're gonna do the reveal stream, and then the next Friday will be the league start. And if I do this wrong, these rogue exiles could kill this jug too. I need to press my Rumi's flask, the flask on the left side, and Immortal Call, which is this. Now that there's only one of them left, I'm fine. When all 6 of them are up, if they get the timing right, they can burst me down. You're trying to build Flicker Strike. You're stuck at level 54 without doing damage. That sounds kind of rough. I haven't leveled a Flicker Strike character in years, so not quite sure how to level it. If I were to level it without looking up how to, I'd probably do slam skills or like maybe poisonous concoction or explosive concoction. Also depends on what side of the tree you're starting on. If you're starting on the bottom for duelist, could probably make slams or concoction skill work. Probably be a little hard to do like a spell-based leveling. Is it good for leveling? Probably not. I think most people that set up a Flicker Strike character use a different skill until the end game. But I know. I'm sure some people are stubborn and try to use it while leveling. Probably not the smoothest thing though. You've been one of those people too, Mikey. Yep. Yeah, I've been in that position before as well. As far as trying to level with a skill that I shouldn't level with. Okay. Well, it looks like this area that has the Ellie pen is short-lived, so I think we can keep going straight down from here. Yeah. It is, it can be hard without a guide. If you don't have years of experience already. There is no mods on this node, alright. That'll be easy. There's I'm pretty sure there's like, if it's not your first character of the league, I've heard of there's a way to level up most characters that just involves like 2 or 3 uniques, and then you have just like unlimited damage through the campaign, and then you just respec some of your tree later. I think it might have been Hollow Palm, but I'm not sure because I didn't do it myself. But when I was leveling this character, people were recommending it to me, and I was like, I'm okay with the slams, because I was just using slam skills and, like, 3-shotting rares. I'm like, yeah, it's probably faster, but I'm okay with the slams, and by the time I have that set up, I'll probably be, you know, 2 or 3 acts further already, so maybe for another time. Oh, there's Ellie Pen there. Might go towards the left here if those look too sketchy. Going straight down. Is that over quality? Yeah. How many Machinariums are on the market today? Still around 30 div, 80 of them. Just take a peek at that. Take a peek at this each day and see. Actually, just do instant buyout. 3 less. Just peek at this every day and see this number slowly go down. As there's less and less days left to complete all the challenges. Okay. I wish you could highlight by modifier, but I don't think you can. Yeah. Wait, where did I know I saw it just like straight under there. It's like a 1 square biome. So the mods on these, they're gonna be the same for everything that's like in the same biome touching each other until a new one starts. But this one you can see these black lines. That's where the edge of this biome is, so it's just 1 square. Same with this above it. But you look at this like red area, this is all the same and they all don't have mods on them. But then there's like this thing in the middle and this that one's got a shit ton of mods, also has the Ellie pen on it. Slumbering boulders. That one's actually a pretty easy one. Otherwise, I can just go that. Keep going straight down. That'll be fine. We can easily go around it this time. So on the hot topic of ground loot and fixing endgame loot, I feel like they could probably rework King's March into like a real mechanic instead of having it be a completely AFK timer based thing. At least not for everything. I feel like for the people that like enjoy the AFK timer stuff, you could probably keep dusting how it is, and that's like the AFK mechanic thing. I feel like the shipments and mappers though should probably be worked and either just take out mappers or just have the two mechanics combined together in some way, where you collect your ore and your crops and whatever, and then send out a shipment, but instead of the shipment just comes back to you, say your crew goes out, they get to the dock, and then the dock they get to, they tell you, we'd love to trade with you, but our last shipment that was about to arrive or whatever got confiscated, kind of like the pirates do to your own crew currently, except change it so that it happens to the place that you arrive at, and then they say, we'll trade for you or whatever, you can keep some of the goods that were stolen from us if you go and get it back. And then it basically puts you into a map that would drop the loot from sending out the shipping boats and stuff. And then there's a lot of creative room there to make the different types of maps, and maybe there's little objectives or whatever flavor on those maps, or it could just be like if they wanted it to be easy, just pick a random like beach layout, whatever, and then you just kill mobs normally that drop that type of loot that you would have gotten from the sending out the boat normally, and just have it drop from monsters instead. Still kind of has tile loot, but at least you're killing monsters to gain loot instead of just waiting for a timer to expire and then it gives you the loot. feel like that might not be the perfect way to fix it, but probably better than what it currently is. Ooh, Crystal Spire. Those are usually... Those have been valuable lately. I haven't checked the price of that fossil in a while, but it was valuable earlier in the league, if I remember correctly. Usually about a div per hollow fossil. And then, but if they like change the King's March to be something like that, like either get rid of mappers or combine them with the crew in some way, then make any of the loot you would get from them just from completing a zone full of monsters instead. And then that way you still have the like passive over time mechanic of harvesting crops and gathering ores. But then it leads to a mapping situation instead of just straight rewards immediately. So you get a little bit of both worlds. You get the timers for the people that enjoy them. I know some people do. Some people don't care. I think I fall into that camp. I don't really care that much about the timers, because I have other things in Path of Exile that I can do in the meantime. So they don't bother me, but they also don't, like, you know, tickle my brain in whatever way that it might for other people. When rare or unique have more modifiers, does that guarantee better loot? Not better loot, but more loot, which over time results in better loot because you get more chances, etc. So let's say there's a rare monster that has 3 modifiers on it that you one-shot compared to a rare monster with 5 modifiers on it that you also one-shot. You want to get more of those monsters that have 5 mods, because you're going to one-shot it either way. So, quantity has a quality all its own. Hollow fossil. It might be both. I don't know off the top of my head. As far as I'm aware, it's probably both, but quantity is usually more powerful for scaling in Path of Exile currently. Rarity doesn't do much to affect currency drops. I think it plays into it a little bit if you get a conversion to happen off of a random rare. But normally, rarity doesn't apply to currencies, which is why you want quantity, so it's like you can get a pair of boots, a weapon, a scarab, a map, a currency item, and then, you know, you group all that together, and that's what one monster drops is a weapon, a boot, a currency item, a map. Well, just and then you do that, except add twice as many mods, it drops twice as many, so instead of the 1 pair of boots, you get 2 pairs of boots, 2 weapons, and 2 currency items drop. It's like the super simple way of looking at how loot drops. A very oversimplified way of explaining it. And then as far as rarity, if it's applying to boots, it's going to either be a normal, magic, or rare or unique pair of boots, and that's what rarity determines. But for currency, to my understanding, it doesn't apply any amount of rarity if there's not a loot conversion, which is an entirely different mechanic that might have been removed. I'm not sure. But if you're looking at all that loot, I don't know which way I want to go here. But if you're looking at all that loot and you get your 2 pairs of boots, your 2 weapons, and your 2 currency items, and you have a lot of rarity, you will probably get those 2 pairs of boots, and those 2 weapons are all going to be rare, yellow items. But the currency items, they have their values of, you are this likely to get a Chaos Orb, this likely to get a Divine, this likely to get a Mirror, and your rarity doesn't affect it. So you just want to have more chances at currency, because you can't change how valuable that the currency is going to roll, so you just want to roll it more times. You want to buy more lottery tickets instead of buying a higher valued lottery ticket, because applying rarity doesn't apply to currency. One, two, three, four. I'm not even sure if it is counting this as connected or not. I think it is. The hollow fossil. Put it in a resonator, and then it re-rolls the item to have an abyssal socket. I kind of want to go to the right because it looks like this does go down. More so quantity. Quantity is better overall. So quantity or rarity. Typically, if you have the choice between quantity or rarity, you pick quantity. Currently, could always change in the future, but as things are right now, pick quantity over rarity. All these words starting with Q. Easy to say the wrong one. So like, that video you watched the other day that I linked to you from Snap about loot drops and stuff, and he was playing footage in the background of crazy amounts of loot dropping. The group that Snap plays in, they pretty much always do group gameplay at the start of their leagues, and they'll have a magic find character that kills all the monsters to increase, that has a lot of rarity on it. This is not like a typical strategy, but you'll notice whenever they are farming, they'll get a crazy amount of uniques, but their currency, it's they aren't getting as much higher quality currency as they are getting unique items. So they do still end up getting a lot of high quality currency like divines and stuff like that. But you'll notice the amount of unique items tremendously outpaces it because of the way rarity and quantity work. Like, it is so absurdly so many more uniques than high quality currency that they're showing like hundreds of uniques on the screen, but they're not, what you're not seeing is their loot filter that's calling the other 10,000 uniques that they know are shit and that they don't want to see on their screen. You used to watch them? Yeah. So their gameplay, while most people aren't able to replicate it, is a good example of showing how quantity and rarity work. The other thing that also is telling of how strong quantity is in the game is it's been repeatedly nerfed and removed out of certain aspects of the game because it's that strong, so it constantly gets nerfed and removed. So there's very little of it left, which is why groups like theirs have started, you know, stacking more and more rarity, because that's the only thing left for them to scale the loot with anymore, instead of quantity. Because they used to do like as much quantity as they could, and then the game slowly has been taking ways to increase quantity out of the game. So they've been stacking more and more and more rarity just to, if you can't get quantity, at least they're gonna get a lot of uniques instead. And eventually, they're gonna hit one of the good uniques, Headhunter, Mageblood, etc. Wished you joined sooner. Oh well. You can't change the past. At least you can look at it like this. Hopefully you got to skip the past 2 years where it's just been kind of I've still enjoyed the game the past 2 years, but it's been a little bit of a bumpy road for a while now. Hopefully they've finally stabilized developing 2 games at the same time. That's what everybody's hoping, and that's what it kind of seems like. They've been getting back to their normal schedule again. So hopefully they can maintain their regular schedule and still make good content. Because like the last 2 years, it's kind of been an irregular schedule and hit or miss content at the same time. At least before, if there was a league that didn't hit, well, then you wait 3 or 4 months and you have the new one. But with Settlers League, we had that one for like 9 or 10 months straight. So it was a long wait for something new. Hopefully we're about to enter a new golden age of Path of Exile. Hopefully. Holy hell, look at look at the path I have to take if I wanted to keep going down. This is insane. I think the according to the Awakened PoE trade, these are like 100 chaos or something, but Faustus is the source of truth. Still trust Faustus a little bit more. Okay, yeah, it's like 100 C each. Pretty nice find for how easy the node is to clear. I think I'll use up this sulfite and then maybe I'll try some recombinator memes, see if I can figure out how this recombinator thing works without having to watch a hour-long guide. Which, I mean, since there's 2 different ways to use the recombinator now, there's like an easy way and a full random way. I think the easy way, where you just select the stats you want, is pretty intuitive. It just straight up tells you what the chances of success are, so. I don't think that'll be too confusing. I just wonder if it'll be any efficient for crafting the belt I want or something. Kept going in and out, no worries. You invited one of your friends to play PoE? Ooh. Dragging them down with you, huh? I mean, showing them the way. He's addicted to the game. Hey, one of us. Oh yeah, back to the topic of making changes to King's March and settlers and all that. I feel like that's also a potential opportunity lore-wise to do a little bit of a connection between PoE 1 and PoE 2. Nothing crazy, but in PoE 2, there's a section where you are in King's March in the story, or in the interludes or whatever at the end of the game, and you go onto the ship, and the ship has a waypoint on it. I feel like they could rework settlers, so following that same vein of you send out your crew and then they ask you to, you know, help retrieve their lost shipment, whoever you were intending to trade with, and then they just have like a waypoint on the boat that you go to, and that's how you get to wherever to do the clear out the zone, clear out the map or whatever. And they're like, yeah, we got a waypoint on a boat, isn't that cool? New technology. Have that connect into PoE 2. Be a pretty small thing, but you know, a little bit of lore here and there. Oh hey, all of these nodes right here are Ellie Pen. Kind of thought that hurt a little more than it normally would. That explains why. I'm a bit surprised I haven't found another boss yet, though, doing all of this. I mean, I guess I haven't really moved very far when I have to loop back like this to reveal more area. I feel like we should stumble upon another boss here pretty soon, though. Delving is extremely profitable if you can get deep enough. And honestly, even if you're at shallow depths, it's always profitable. It's just not exactly fast. 'Cause sulfite is like so easy to get. It's basically free, so there's almost no input cost, so delve will always give you a profit. But if you're in a shallow depth, it may be a very slow amount of currency per hour. But since Delve only costs Sulfite to get into, you just open a map, put in a Sulfite Scarab that costs 1 C or less, grab all the Sulfite. Like for me, to cap out my Sulfite, it takes 3 tier 16 maps with a Sulfite Scarab and I'm done. So the cost to do that is like essentially nothing, but maybe like 5C is the cost. So pretty much nothing. And there's a lot of different things down here that you can get money from, like this, for example, Molten Cavity. Molten Cavity is guaranteed to have a specific fossil. The name escapes me, but we'll find out in a moment. This fossil pretty much always has some amount of value, depending on the meta. It's more or less depending on how many people need it, but it's always somewhat good. Faceted fossil. More gem modifiers, which is very useful for crafting +1 weapons, and I think +1 amulets. Yeah, it would work on +1 amulets as well, because it would have the gem tag on the +1 skills. So stuff like this. +1 to level of all lightning spell skill gems has the gem tag on it. So that's what faceted fossil's used for. And if we go and visit Faustus, our hollow fossil already sold. This one's probably a little cheaper. Yeah. Well. There's not a whole lot of them on the market currently, so they're pretty expensive. And you also get resonators, which the single socket resonator is usually between 1 and 3 chaos, which is true right now. And then the more sockets the resonator has, the more they're worth, typically. Sometimes the 2 socket ones are worth less than the 1 socket ones, because there's some crafting strategies that only need to use the single socket, so you have to fill up both sockets with different fossils in order to use it. So there's some strategies where you only want the single socket, and then the 2 socket ones nobody wants to use because you have to put an extra fossil in that you don't really need. It's just a waste of currency. But resonators also provide a lot of currency from Delve, because you can go to Nico, purchase items, and he sells resonators for azurite, You pick up azurite at these nodes, which are everywhere. You have to pass through some of them at some point, and you can just straight up turn your azurite into resonators, which are worth at least 1 chaos each for these ones. And I have 83,000, and they are 300 each. So that's 150. It's like 300 chaos right there. So lots of different places to get money. There's also these nodes which just have a bunch of chests in them with a whole bunch of loot. We found another boss, which is what I'm looking for. I'm specifically looking for this boss. This boss can drop this map. That's worth 30 divines. And it's a pretty decent drop rate, like 10% or something. How much hollow cost? 100 chaos, roughly. I'm gonna fact check my drop rate there. What the fuck is this thing called? Grand Architect's Ball Outpost. Here's the boss. And it lists that map as a 16% drop rate. The hollow fossil? Is that what you're asking about? Yeah. Rerolls a rare. Guarantees an abyssal socket. Oh, I'm trying to click the... Oh, I got stuck. Am I not supposed to be able to jump into this thing? Oh, it doesn't look like you're supposed to be able to jump into it, but I can. Oh, well, I fucked around too much. Fucked around and found out. You haven't seen any build using that? I think Wanderers use it. And it would make sense that any build that doesn't need all of their gem sockets would use it, because it replaces, it takes up space that gem sockets would use. So if you don't need every single gem socket in your build, I don't know if it takes up a modifier spot or not though. But being able to put an extra eye jewel in can be pretty good. There's also builds that scale based off of how many abyss jewels you have socketed on your character. Man. What is... Crit Onslaught. Poison, impale, bleeding. Yes. Pen. Wow. That is... I have to do a lot of backtracking if I can't complete this. This might be one that the Trickster might be better at. Yup. They sure do hit hard. If you came into my delve, a white mob could probably one-shot you. Oh, this is not the skill gem I wanted on. Uh-oh. I actually wanted... Well, that's fine. I wanted Exsanguinate for the chain. Those bats. So there's bats down there that do a little shockwave scream thing. I'm pretty sure it's a spell, which is what got me that time, I'm pretty sure. Do I have a... There's phasing. Oh, it's to the left this time. I really don't want to have to go around this. Give it another shot on the jug. of that as well. More flares, some dynamite. Maybe we can drop some dynamite here to help out. Stand behind this fucking tree so half of their shots just hit the tree instead of me. So I'm not sure how much of this I actually need to kill and how much I just need to wait for the next lever to be pullable. I pulled all the levers. I think, yeah, there's something in the middle that I need to kill after all the levers. Look at this if I want to go around. Fucking bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy. It wasn't enough to just give them EpiPen. It gave them EpiPen and like 3 other steroids at the same fucking time. Rip, still woozy, sent to the void. I wonder if I can just pull the lever and walk away and wait. How does Strength Stacker work for defenses? Well, there's an hour-long video explaining the build, so... Out of sulfite. Seems like a good time to do some crafting, because kind of tilted about that position I'm stuck at in Delve now. Okay. Let me buy a second belt. See if we can do some recombinator shenanigans. Belt. I think I want it eye level 83. Implicit strength 13%. And not corrupted. Just buy like 3 of these, I guess. Oh. I scammed myself. He had already qualitied it. That one's not useful for me. Okay. Just resell this one.
Hopefully there'll be interest.
Okay. Hmm. $129 life, tier 3 ES. So I think can take one of these. Like this one, I don't care. And instead of using an essence, we'll just use the chaos from this. Reforge 10, 14, 35. And we want the life, the ES, the strength, and the chaos res. 1% chance. Aha. Well, 1% chance or random mods. Let's just do random, see what we get. We got what we wanted. What the fuck? Kind of. I think that we got a lower... I'm pretty sure there was... Yeah, it was higher life and higher energy shield, but it is technically the mods we wanted. And then I want a high elemental resistance as well. So if I... What if I try to annul this to just the strength and cold res? What if I do that? Oh, we missed. Tier 3, Ellie res. Cha-ching. All right. Did I buy the wrong ones? I bought the wrong ones. I thought those were too cheap.
Put the word out.
That looks better. Hey. Hey. That's a good life roll. Good ES. Good life roll. Try to pair it with another good stat, though.
Put the word out.
Hmm. I guess the energy shield roll is good enough. Let's see, what can we do? What do we got? We've got 3 belts. This one needs Elirez. This has Elirez and a better life roll. Does the Recombinator respect the cannot change rules? I feel like it wouldn't, right? That wouldn't make any sense at all. I mean, between these two, whoops, I just wanted to post them in the chat so I can refer back to what they were. But I mean, the worst mod on both of these is tier 4 lightning res, and I guess these are pretty bad too, but it's like all stuff I want, so let's see what we get. The chaos res disappeared. We kept the low life roll and I think the low energy shield roll. Yep. Yeah, well. This does feel like it might be better than what I was doing yesterday, though. At least in terms of cost. Someone already placed a higher order than me. Fucking grr. Why do they do this?
I'll put the word out.
Try and annul off the shit on this. Okay. Oh. Strength is gone. And I think this one's bad enough that we re-roll it again.
I should raise my fees.
I don't want to keep that one, but I think rolling them one at a time is easier for me to faster for me to understand what I'm looking at.
I'll put the word out.
Okay. I think that one's just good as is. I mean, the chaos res is low, but sure is something. Compare to the belt I'm currently wearing. It's for sure more life in ES. A little bit less elemental res. And like half as much chaos res. Hmm. What does PoE say if I put this on? So yeah, our strength isn't. This needs to be 15 increased strength, qualityed. How do you put the quality onto this? Not supported in PoE yet. So you just take the actual values, I guess. What they would be. So with 20% quality, this is going to be 18% increased strength. And it's like 60 flat strength, right? Since strength can go up to like, I'll just put in 65. So that would be the belt with quality on it. And I guess to make things easy, oh, it already has cold res. We're a bit over max though, so the smaller amount of cold res shouldn't make a difference. I don't know why it doesn't have my cold res correct. Those are all checked. I wonder if it's... Is there a foul-born jewel in my tree that... Is it this thing? Fire res or all res grant life. No, that's not. Arctic armor's on. Wait a second. There. It's because I helped Alira, that's why my resistances weren't correct. Oh shit. The changes I made to the strength are 1865. Save. So yeah, I mean the effective hit pool goes down because we're losing chaos. Res. It's so close to being what I want if the chaos res was a little higher. What if I smush these two belts together?
Greetings.
Full random. They got high life, high ES. 2 high resistances here. Wait a second. Why would I smush these two together? I want higher chaos res. It's not going to end up with anything I want. If I smush them together, that would be not a good idea. What I could do, could look for a high chaos res roll again like this. $29. I mean, since I'm only looking for chaos res here, I might as well go for the tier 1 roll. There we go. That video makes you knock out? Yeah. Do you understand why I can't easily explain the defenses for this build? It's a lot. This has the strength roll. I'll try this first. All right. Go. Strength, cold res, there's no chaos res. This one's missing strength, so we hit strength and chaos res. Can combine them. Also, I think I've tried this, but is anyone just straight up selling? The belt I want? Crafting's fun, but I think the reason I did this originally was I couldn't find a belt on trade that I could just buy. That was better. Crafting is quite addicting. You think so? I could agree with that. This one, crafted energy shield. Some of these are better than what I'm wearing. Uh, 100 life. $30 ES. And now there's none. I wonder, I guess putting the ES into that filter doesn't help me find it on belts. Wow. That's a good belt. Mhm. This has more strength. It still has a tier 1. Oh, that's tier 2 Elirez. Could settle for tier 2 Elirez. -9 strength. Change the fire res to cold. It's like 2% max hit across the board. Put it there for the whole entire league. They probably haven't logged in. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna stay listed if they don't log back in. I mean, I don't know what they would have spent to craft it, but it is the best belt for this build on the market. I mean, there could be some other ones if we tinker around with the values here. But for the belts I am looking for, you're still going? Yep, stream every day. Every day that I don't need to be somewhere else. Which is most days. Personal expectations? I'm expecting them to do something with tier 17 maps. What they're gonna do with it, I don't know. Also expecting to see probably something with the Scion ascendancies based on the teasers. anything else, I don't have any expectations. The next league could be like the best league ever, or it can be complete trash. It's kind of hard to tell. Which of these did I just put in here? Onslaught Buckle. This one. Metamorph 2.0 Boss League. I suppose the other thing that I wouldn't be surprised by is if we got a different like end game storyline going. I think how long have we had Egan around? I think it's been about a year. But also that quest line is relatively short. I wouldn't be surprised to also see a different a new endgame storyline introduced that further progresses past Maven and all of that. Feels about time for a big switch up. Yeah. They say a lot of things in their interviews. I typically just, wait for patch notes to see what they actually do. Well, I'm kind of bored of throwing money at these belts and
Greetings.
could take forever to hit the belt I want.
Farewell.
I think we're gonna buy this one. Guess which build you're going to play? A secret build.
Could do worse, exile.
Let's see. Let me change the res on this belt real quick and then take a look at some of the skills. You want cold res? Is there? I don't know why my max res is at 84. I thought it was at 89. But builds. Is it Creeping Frost? That's my guess. Creeping Frost. Do, do, do. Okay, my POB has my max res at 89. What the hell? I thought I saw it at 89 in-game too. Oh, wait. Did I? No. I changed flasks on my other character. I kept all these flasks the same. What the? Oh. I bet Immortal Call is ticked. Is that what's happening? That doesn't change my max res. I need to grab some sulfite, so I'll open a map for that. Daemonion. Was my guess right? I need to know. This was my old belt. Throw that in there. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with these. Okay, now my resistances are... Oh. The sulfite is lying to me. I can't click it off either. If I leave and come back, does it get rid of the sulfite buff? It does. Okay. Oh. It's my fortification stacks. That brings me up, I think. Or the endurance charges. I don't know. One of those two things brings it up. Okay, that makes sense. I just completely forgot about endurance charges.
Hello.
Wait, I only have 88 like 88 over fire res. That's not good. My conditional buffs bring me up to 90% resistance. Endurance. Damage taken. I'm just trying to see what the fuck is raising my max res. One percent less damage from hits per. Modifiers to max fire res, apply to max cold and lightning. Yeah, that makes sense. It seems to 4% of it's coming from purity of fire. Whatever. I'm done trying to figure it out. All I know is it works. It's in there somewhere. Problem with setting up a build 2 months ago. Don't remember how half of it works. I'll run to the restroom. I'll be right back. Dude, my fucking multi-chat keeps breaking. That's why I didn't see any of your messages. I'll catch up when I get back. Be right back. Alright, let's see here. Alright. Fuck Stream Elements. Garbage software. Swear to God, I'm so close to just coding my own piece of software to make my own multi-chat. I just need to hook into the APIs of the streaming site and just bring in all chat messages. It seems like something AI could whip up in 10 seconds. I don't know why the fuck Stream Elements is so garbage. So, wasn't Creeping Frost. It wasn't nerfed for years. Blade Vortex? Alright, let's see. Did I miss messages in the other ones? No, YouTube's fine. Kick is also fine. Struggles of technology. Alright. I can see the chats again. I guess probably gonna spend some time tonight looking for a different way to set up the multi-chat then. Hopefully I don't have to resort to coding something myself, because I haven't done that in a while, but I suppose if I were to get back into it, that would be a simple, should be an easier project.
随分楽しんでるな。
Where is the last sulfite? Oh, there it is. Okay. Is our 4% upgrade on our belt gonna be enough to pass this node? I don't think it's gonna make a huge difference. I think if I pass, it'll just be luck. Hey Bix Plays, what's up? How you doing? Is there a reason nobody uses Crown of the Eyes with Wrath Pith for crit melee? Have to look at both those items again to read exactly what they do. Take a look at them after this, if I hopefully survive. Okay, I think the guy in the middle should just spawn. And will he walk over to me, please? I don't want to stand in the middle of everything. Rip. Increases and reductions to spell damage. Apply to attacks. Attack damage leached. Accuracy. And Wrath Pith. Spell crit per 100 player max life. My best guess would be because most melee builds probably want to use two-handers. And then of the builds that I've done in the past that use that are melee builds that use a shield, I used the fire shield a lot for damage mitigation. What the hell is it? It's Dawn something? Dawnbreaker. A lot of the builds that I used shields with in the past used Dawnbreaker, and that was, in the builds I used it for, it was not negotiable. Because of the fizz to fire conversion. Almost knocked everything over. I think I can pass this node if I just throw myself at it enough times. That fucking Pen is stonewalling me pretty hard. If you use a Divine on a Watcher's Eye, does it completely reroll? I'm pretty sure it's just rerolls the numerical value, not the whole thing. Otherwise, most Watcher's Eyes would be a lot closer in price. At least more closer than they are currently. They'd still be pretty spread out, because it'd be hard to hit a triple good one, but... yeah, you could just test it. Or look on the wiki. I know the information. I'm like 99% sure your answer is on the wiki. Feels like the waves get harder on this one as it progresses, because it's like the first one I'm fine, and then the second and third one is just shotgunning a billion miles an hour. Yeah, it'd be pretty cheap test by a shit Watcher's Eye in Divine Orbit. See, like, that one wasn't too bad. If I just kill these from the start, am I gonna have a better chance? Maybe I was letting them build up too much. Kill absolutely all of them. Get rid of all of them. And then start the next one. Well, I think it's time to start the long journey to go around this. Oh, it's such a bad bottleneck, dude. It's so bad. Only rerolls numerics. That's what I thought. Which is why the bad ones are really cheap, because yeah, I can't do anything with it. It is essentially a brick. Oh my god, nothing connects downward. I can't go deeper. Nothing. I mean, it does connect somewhere, but it's like the game said, nope, you can't go deeper than this. It's some bullshit. Well, we did find another boss by meandering over here, so I guess silver lining. You have the one mirror watcher's eye and was wanting to roll the mods. Ah. Yeah. Yep, you should be safe to do that. Fizz as fire. Ah, yeah. The double fizz conversion. Very nice. Dude. So, you know, we're taking like a straight line down. Bam. They're ridiculous. And there's a time-lost cavern in my way. The only rough thing about the double fizz conversion is you have to run 2 purities, which is unfortunate, but worth it. But unfortunate that you have to use a aura for that instead of a different one. Whoa. But at least you get to drop res from a lot of your gear if you're running 2 purities. Wrathpith instead of Dawnbreaker? True. It's also pretty common that if one of the, you know, if nobody talks about a build, then, you know, a lot of people aren't even aware of interactions like that. It's like there's probably a couple of thousand people that are making high-end PoE builds, and then only a fraction of those people are posting guides, whether it's videos or written guides. So no one tells other people about it. There's not a whole lot of people that are actually trying to piece together these crazy builds. So it's probably just a matter of either no one has tried it or no one has said anything. Alright. Let's see if we get a Machinarium. Yeah, it would pair well with strength stacking. Mm-hmm. Oh, no map. Better luck next time. Holy shit. I found a path down to the next one. See if I'm gonna get bottlenecked again before I start this journey. Doesn't look like I'll get stopped by anything going along that path. Be interesting to see if Wrathpith would be any good for this, but I forget what this two-hander is. Pretty specific. Not sure if there's a one-hander I can swap in that still works with everything else. Oh, huh. Did that, I think that other belt base I had got eaten. Reduce, oh no, it's still here. It still exists. I remember why I was trying to... Part of the reason why I was trying to craft onto this belt base specifically. Reduced enemy stun threshold. because this is supported by level 10 endurance charge on melee stun. I think I was trying to get more consistent charge generation at some point. I must have thought that was an issue. Any build that gets little to no benefit from gem levels, so it's probably a decent amount of the attack skills. As far as I'm aware, their level scaling is not as good as spells in general. I think the reason I wanted that belt was to generate endurance charges against bosses. I have just the perfect one to go and test this out on, because I also started rolling that belt when I was this deep in the delve. Attack builds are RF. Maybe next league's the League of RF. I keep hearing people talking about playing RF. I think Lance might have made a bet with somebody that he could make a better AFK farmer for Simulacrum on RF than whatever else, whoever he was betting against. I have 7 endurance charges. Yeah, I don't know what prompted me to think that belt would, I mean, it would provide some benefit, but I feel like I thought it was going to help out more than it did, but my endurance charges against single target look fine. No build for it on the RF wiki? Well, I mean... Yeah, you'd be better off asking Pox directly if he's tried it before. Because I know he's tried a lot of them. Yeah, I have no idea. But I think that's what Lance said. He was gonna scale the RF with mana or something. I think that's what he said. Either that or I'm just mixing up chat conversations with other streams and creating my own little world in my head. Gonna accidentally have your secret build played by a big streamer, and then all of a sudden all the gear you want is triple the price. You know, Lance has made some RF build or some mana RF builds. Ah, I see, I see. So I didn't just make up that conversation. It actually probably happened. Saw an old video where he leveled with it and it did insane damage. Alright, my prediction. RF isn't gonna get touched because RF never gets changed. They're just gonna nerf mana stackers across the board, and then everybody's is gonna be like, well, fuck, back to the drawing board. That's my prediction. Just because everybody was talking about, I mean, mana stackers are already meta, but you know, even more people are talking about it that normally wouldn't. It's 1C, isn't it? $14K damage at the start of Act 5. Yeah, that sounds like a lot. I'm like, I don't normally look... Like, I do look at my damage throughout the campaign, but I'm always comparing to what my damage previously was, but that sounds like a pretty big number from my vague memory of looking at DPS numbers while playing the campaign. Like, triple what I think I remember normally seeing. You like it because it's easier to get tanky and good damage? Those both sound like great things to me. Able to convert mana to ES? Yep. Oh, just a few more days till patch notes. I can't wait. I can't wait. I need to know now. I need to know now. What have they been cooking? You've got Giga Mana Conversion, Jewel and Standard, 20% or something. Oh my god. %20 from one jewel? That's crazy. Ah, Timeless Jewel. That makes a bit more sense. Got it when it was cheap. Hell yeah. The advantage of doing your own thing. You can get really good stuff for cheap before anybody realizes that it's good. Ooh, got an all. Looks like a fairly easy one too. Nothing too crazy there. Yep, advantage of playing off meta. Past couple leagues I've been kind of doing like stuff that's meta but not popular, and that's been working out really well for me. So it's like one person makes a guide on it, and then nobody puts it in like their tier lists or really talks about it, but it's still like an S tier build. That's been working out well for me. Go this way first. This is the reason why we came over here to begin with. So I've got like the stupidest reason for having a very small doubt about the next league. And it's because it's like desert themed, and I swear anytime there's desert themed content in an ARPG, it always feels so bad. I don't know why. But it's like D3, the desert areas, has those annoying wasps that got changed over the years, but there's that. PoE has Desert Springs and the Desert Map, which are just god-awful map layouts. I feel like I never have a fun time in any of the desert biomes in ARPGs. There's the Scorpion boss, which is annoying as hell, is in the desert biome. Fortunately, that has basically nothing to do with the actual gameplay and stuff, so has basically no bearing on whether or not the league will be good, but it just gives me a slight bad feeling. The Uber tank thing you did with the one build, converting as much damage as possible to fire, and then using Formless Flame for the flat, reduced damage taken from hits. Ah. Definitely make you, like, immortal to small hits, that's for sure. I feel like some of the slams, though, I don't know how hard the flat damage reduction is, but I feel like some of the big slams are just so big that it wouldn't make a difference. Taking 0 damage from small hits, though, is really OP for some combinations, like Flask Charge on hit, and then Life Recovery every time you use a Flask Charge, or every time you use a Flask. Fucking nutso recovery. Not that you would need to recover, because you're not gonna take damage anyways, but if you did take damage... AFK depth 350. Not bad. Ah. I think the ground degen was still there, and I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I mean, there's like 2 different types of tanky. There's like tier 16 tanky, and then there's Tank Uber Slams tanky, and then there's Delve tanky. Context is important. Three-hour boss fight. But I mean, you can AFK it, unless you need to hold down a button, in which case, I guess you technically aren't allowed to AFK it, but... I think, can't you numlock trick in PoE? I think you could AFK that way. Laughing in guild chat the whole time. Numlock. Just numlock your damage button. Go make dinner, come back. Oh, the boss is dead. Oh. No map. Zero for 2 on Machinariums today. Oh, playing it as RF, well that's easy. Then you don't even have to do anything. Don't have to do any kind of trick. You can just walk away. Had 2,500 life. Suppose that doesn't help your RF damage too much. Have to scale it through other means, which is usually how it's scaled anyways. It's not a whole lot of RF life stacking. It's usually just not an efficient way to build the character. Okay. Kinda hurt. just pop my roomies the next time he does that attack, just to be safe. Oh my god, I'm so glad I did. I don't know if that helped or not, but Jesus. That hurt. No amulet, but the amulet's not worth a whole lot this league. Okay, helmet's worth something though. I'll take a 2-div helmet. If you remade it, you'd use Foulborn Surrender and Endurance charges as Jug, get 90% damage reduction in combo with 90% resistance. Sounds amazing. I feel like an RF character in Delve would... Sounds awesome. Because a lot of Delve nodes are just AFKing in the middle until it's finished. But I'm also looking for Delve builds that can handle 6k plus, so those are usually hard to come by. And you probably want 10 mil DPS minimum, and 10 mil is like really, really low for deep delving. It's 2 div, but listed for a month. 1 divine. All right. Where should we go next? Your goal for delving is usually 1200. That's probably a pretty nice area to farm stuff in. You get still getting a lot of the good nodes popping up without cranking up the difficulty too crazily. Don't see any issues with the nodes going that way. That way also looks safe in case I need to change directions. I think I'm gonna go down this path. Not managed to get past 700 on anything yet. I mean, it's a difficult thing to do. That's for sure. Yeah, trying to make your own delver. I wonder, does it? I'm pretty sure it brings your... Actually, I have no idea how delve works on standard. Let's check. Because I know I got pretty deep 1 league, but I don't know... Do they convert that into standard? Because I would have already had a delve in standard. Like, what the hell do they even do with delve? Standard is its own. Yeah, that would make sense to me. Oh, where are we? Depth. Okay, yeah, I know I've been past 1,000, so yeah. Looks like my standard delve is at 900. I think the deepest I got was on... Self-cast Hex Blast, I think. Was it this character? It was. Because we got the Vixens. Impending Doom, that's what it was, not Hex Blast. I don't even remember if I got the self-poison working. I'm pretty sure I just had that in as extra recovery because I would kill myself with self-poison. I couldn't balance the leech correctly to not die to self-poison. And then we were using Transcendence was the main part of the defenses. Which is why I'm wearing the lore weave. To negate the downside of Transcendence. Where's the other sockets? Socket. Blood notch. There's nothing in there. Watcher's eye, double fizz conversion. Nothing in there. So I don't think I ever got the self-poison part to work, unfortunately, but it is a really cool idea. You use the Foulborn Surrender to have armor apply to elements. But I think that character got to 1200 or 1300 maybe depth. And I think that was my best one. I think I've tried to set up 2 jugs before this one that did not go well because I was trying to do it on more of a budget. So this time around I said, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go all out. And it's been working a lot better. I don't think I'm ever gonna finish this character though. It's gonna live in standard forever and not to be touched again after this league. Armor apply to Chaos and Ellie. That sounds very nice. I have been tempted to try and make a glass cannon Delver, but seems like a lot of time and effort for something that's probably has a very, very high chance of failure. Maybe one day I'll commit to it. Revive the old glass cannon strategy. It's just what I just got unlucky against the exiles there. No one takes advantage of flat damage reduction. And it's not a very... You don't see it all that often. Like, in general, like there's not a lot of items that provide it. And if they do, it's usually a pretty small amount. Out of flares. Ah. Not having flares for these guys is annoying. Step into the light. Like, flat damage reduction kind of feels like thorns in this game. It's there, but there's not very many ways to make use of it. Minus 100 to 200 is a lot. Which happens first, your resistance or the flat reduction?
Greetings.
Flat is after resistance. Time to get some soul fight. Oh, whoops. Wanted to go this way.
Was a long journey, but the exchange went well enough.
Gotta head downtown. I'll be back after if I'm still on. I'm probably ending in a little bit, so most likely not until tomorrow, but thanks for hanging out, Bix. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll be streaming again tomorrow, starting around 10 a.m. North America Central Time. Have a good one. Gotta go help your mate with some stuff. Best of luck to you and your mate. Clear out this tab a little bit, just apply some random scarab, or not scarabs, some random incubators. What's this? Does this always have 2 sockets? Guess it doesn't matter.
I think I could sell that.
What the hell? Oh, it's because it was double corrupted. That's why that's there. Here's all the double corrupt stuff we pulled out of the Vol Temple the other day. I feel like the fire damage leech's life on this one's kind of cool, but I think the builds that I know that use this are Ignite builds, which wouldn't benefit from leech, but actually this one's like, no one wants Stormheart. These other ones
Greetings.
just drop in for like 1 divine. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna call it there for today. Short little stream. We'll have a normal length stream tomorrow. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Bix Plays, Mikey, Daemonian was here earlier. Anyone else that was lurking, appreciate it as well. If you guys are over on YouTube and you like the stream and you want to help support for free, you can hit the like button on the YouTube stream. Helps with the algorithm and it costs you nothing. I also multi-stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick if you prefer one of those other spots to watch the stream. And I've got the other social medias, Twitter, Blue Sky, Discord, all that, if any of that piques your interest. But that is all for today. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day or night.